This command is the best command in the game. That's not an opinion, that's a fact. What this command does is it pretty much allows you to do anything. You can run every other command in the game through that command, but add some parameters. And to convince you guys that this command in fact is the best command in the game, I'll be explaining some stuff about it. The execute command has a bunch of parameters and I'm not going to go over every single one of them, because honestly, I don't use every single one of them. The ones we're going to be looking at are as, at, if, and in. Let's start with the most simple one, which is in. Basically, when you execute a command in, it lets you determine what dimension you want to run the command in. So for example, if I were to do it in my chat and I type execute in, I have these three options. Now let's just randomly take the nether and we say run, which is pretty much just saying this is the command I want to run, dp0100. So we're saying we want to execute teleport to 0100 in the dimension the nether, which means that we instantly get teleported to the nether. And apparently in this seed there's a fortress here. And that is all the in parameter does. It's a very simple one, but it can be very effective. Of course, how you use it is fully up to you. Next we're going to be looking at as and at. For this bit we have a little bit of an armor stand right here that's going to assist us. I'm actually going to give the armor stand a name, and I'm going to be naming it Jake. The name really doesn't matter. We can define what entity we want to execute a command at. So in this case we say at E, type equals armor stand, name equals Jake. Was it Jake with a capital? I don't remember. And then we say one random command. So let's say run. We add a set block command. And what we're pretty much saying now is at the location of all entities that are an armor stand and that are named Jake, we run the command set block 3 blocks above them stone. So now if we power this command block, there's a stone block above Jake. Now to explain the difference between what the at means and what the as means, it's pretty much what it sounds like. So for example, if we say that at the location of the armor stand, we're gonna run a say command and we're gonna make something say hello. As you can see in chat, hello appears. However, hello has this little at sign. That means it's being executed as the command block. Now let's say we want to make Jake say something. The way we would do that is instead of an at command, we run an as command. Then you can see in chat, Jake said hello. Then you might be wondering, why do you need the at command if you can just execute something as any entity? For that we need the original command again. However, this time we set the block 3 blocks above the armor stand as stone, but we do an as command and not an at command. You can see the stone is above the command block. So Jake changed the block above the command block because the command is run here, not there. But this is the person who ran it. Or this is the entity who ran the command. The last thing we're going to be looking at is the if parameter. And the way this works is you're pretty much asking to let the command block only run a certain command if something else is true. So for this example we're going to be using the if block. Let's find the location of this block. So we're going to be testing if the block is a block of sand, and we're going to run say hi. Now also to make this work more efficiently, what we're going to be doing is we're going to set this to repeat and on always active. So now this command block is constantly checking if this block is a block of sand. As you can see, if it's air, nothing happens. If it's cobbled deep slate, nothing happens. But if we grab our sand block, the chat is being spammed with hi. And that's how simple this command is. It just checks if the perimeter that you put right here is true. And there's some other options. There's if blocks, which means that you're comparing locations. There is entity to check entity stuff. There is some data stuff, which has to do with all type of fun things, scoreboards, a lot of things. I'm not going to go over every single one of them. There is plenty of locations where you can find that if you're interested in command blocks. This is just explaining how the execute works. And that explains every single one of the parameters that I'm quickly going to run over. However, there is one more fun thing, which is that these parameters can stack. So let's say what we did right here is we stacked them. So we execute as a pig at the pig if the same block is sand and then we're summoning a chicken. Now we can't really see the S part here. That's because I couldn't think of a command that you would use S and add for just from the top of my head. I've used it in the past, I can't remember. Which means that if we place sand right here, this pig should constantly spawn chickens. This was slightly more cruel than I was expecting it to be. In general, that is everything for execute command. However, there's one more thing I want to go over, because it's something that I use a lot using this command, and I quickly want to teach you guys how I do that. The thing we're quickly going to be doing is create a randomizer. Now, I sort of created the basics already. Right here, if I place a block here, it says in chat 1, and it changes this block to stone. That's for what we're going to be doing next. Here's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to be adding some armor stands that are going to be executing commands, and for the sake of simplicity we're going to be calling them R. Now we're going to grab our fun little execute command, and we're going to execute at the location of the armor stands. So let's make sure that we specify that we're going to be needing those armor stands. We're going to set the block right under them to be a redstone block. Now, at the moment this isn't a randomizer yet. If I power this, every single one of them, I misplaced all of them. Ooh, okay, there we go. If I were to power this, every single one of them fires. Also, let's quickly turn off command block output. Every single one of them fires, which means that you get the whole row of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that only one random armor stand gets fired. And the way we do that is we're going to limit the amount of armor stands to 1. Now if I were to do this, only one fires, but as you can see is always the same one. Now how it exactly chooses which one at the moment, I don't know. But we want to make sure that it doesn't always pick the same one. So we're going and sorting them randomly. Now, as you can see, it randomly grabs one of these. This is a system I use in pretty much every single one of my command block creations because I like stuff being random. And that is going to be it. It is a very simple command, but very useful command to use. Now, I know this video was slightly different from what I do normally. I don't feel like I'm the tutorial type, but if you enjoyed, and if you want me to do more stuff like this, just tell me in the comments. And subscribe if you haven't already. I just broke a command block. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.